Hey guys, Dr. Dave Nichol here with Freewheeling, the veterinary business Q&A show. Now today I want to talk about a little insight I had a couple of weeks ago when I was thinking about my VetX Thrive class and why so many people are feeling lost in the profession. And I had a little breakthrough, a little insight that I think unlocks a lot of the challenges and explains a lot of the strife that people are having. And it was a wonderful realization because you all know and you'll have heard lots of the reasons as to why people think we're struggling in veterinary medicine, right? So people are too smart. They're going into university too smart for the job that they're going to be doing. It's not paid well enough. It's all about the millennials and their lack of work ethic. It's the feminization that's doing it. It's the practice owners, don't provide a good job, blah, 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 blah. All of that, okay? And I'm not discounting any of those. I actually think there's some validity to some of those, certainly not all of them. But I think there's a problem with all of those, and that is each of them seeks to blame somebody else for the problem. And I think that lack of accountability is one part of our issue, but I think there's a bigger issue underpinning it all. And I think people in veterinary medicine, and this is going to sound weird, but go with it, I think people in veterinary medicine are lacking a purpose. Now, before you're like switch off and say, what? That's bullcrap. Hear me out. When you decided to be a veterinary surgeon, or when someone decides to be a veterinary surgeon, when you made that decision, you had purpose. Okay, you found purpose, maybe for one of the first times in your life. And you decided to do one of the hardest things that you could possibly do at that age, and that's to get into vet school. Certainly one of the hardest academic things. And so, what did you do? You made sacrifices, you worked hard, and you pushed hard to make that happen. So, you got up at 3 a.m. to go milking cows. You broke your back mucking out dung from a horse byre. You worked on pig farms, and you stank so bad your family wouldn't sit round at the dinner table with you, even though you'd scrubbed yourself under a hot shower 6 times with carbolic soap. The smell wouldn't go away. You did it, right? You studied long and hard. You maybe got tutoring. You studied longer and harder than any of your friends, and you made sacrifices. And by God, you were magnificent, and by God, you managed it. And you got in vet school, right? So now you get in vet school, your focus changed. You still have a purpose, but that purpose was to become a veterinary surgeon, to get those letters after your name. And again, you buckled down and got the job done. But now it meant giving up all of your holiday to go on EMS rotations. Now it meant going to lectures full time every day, having so much information thrown at you, your brain literally felt like it was going to leak out of your ear. It meant watching your friends who were doing arts degrees doing 2 lectures a day and going to the pub when you couldn't. You had to work. It meant after you'd finished your day of work, it meant stuffing some dinner down your face quickly and then going to the university library and studying your guts out more just to stay on top. It meant going and standing in freezing cold fields, and if you did like I did, you were stood on the side of a Scottish hilltop with 40 or 50 head of cattle doing blood testing, TB testing, when you could not feel your hands just as well because the cow just smashed it off the railing of the cow crate. Yet you were happy, and you got it done, and you felt special, didn't you? Because you had purpose, and you were working toward that purpose. So then, you got your degree, you passed out the other side, and your focus changed. And it changes, and it's not subtle. It looks subtle, but it's not. Your focus now became surviving for many of you. And the razor-edged, diamond tip, sharp point of focus suddenly got blurry. Because to survive is not an objective or a goal. That's just a thing. There's no end to it. There's no dimension to it. And so you did what you could to survive, but you lived mostly in fear. And maybe you just wanted to get by and not get sued. And maybe you just felt like, one day maybe I'll feel okay at this job. And maybe I'm just sick to the back teeth of not being appreciated by my boss. There was just negativity. There were so many things you could have done. And you just felt like you were sinking. You just cut adrift, okay? You did not have a purpose because a purpose is a clear goal. Do you see the difference? Vet school was a clear goal. They had a time limit on it. You had a certain criteria you had to achieve to get it done, and you could work to that. And vet school was the same thing. Surviving does not have any of those characteristics. Ladies and gents, I put it to you, I'm making the case here for a lack of purpose as being one of the reasons so many of you guys are in the doldrums. And I don't just mean new graduates here, by the way. I mean anybody in the profession who's not happy and moaning and complaining. It's probably at the root cause lack of purpose. And so I'm asking you to examine that, because a human being without a purpose is a very lost soul. If you don't have a purpose, what a purpose gives you, what it gave you already, so you can do this again, but what purpose gives you is the resolve to push through when things get hard, the focus to choose the actions and the activities that are going to get you where you want to do, or want to go, and how you want to do it. Mind without that is just drifting. And adrift for too long, when you just feel no love or appreciation for what you're doing, if you do that for long enough, you're going to end up in despair. And I think that is why 50% of people, when they get 5 years out of college, wouldn't recommend being a vet. And I think that's sad. I think that's super sad, because I loved being a vet. If I had to go back and do it tomorrow, I'd love it again. Just so happens I love doing this more. But I'd go back and I'd love it because I had a purpose. And I couldn't have told you that then. And honestly, I couldn't have told you that last year. But now, with that insight, I think there's a lot to that. So, I'm going to offer you this as the parting shot, as the takeaway from today's little podcast or YouTube show. I challenge you to sit down without interruption. And if you're feeling lost, the solution starts by defining the problem and asking the right question. So the question I think is the right question is simply this. If your purpose is your why. So why are you doing it, and what do you want to achieve? If you can answer those two questions, and it might be the other way around, what do you want to achieve and why do you want to achieve it? When people ask me, what do you do? I've spent so long struggling to answer that question. I feel like, what do you actually do now? I'm like, I'm not sure, but I can tell you crystal clarity now. I help pets and their people live happy, healthy lives. And I do that by producing a range of products and services that help you guys be the best version of yourselves possible. Okay? That's with crystal clarity what I do and I exist to do in this market. My struggle was, I do a lot of things. I have a veterinary hospital. I travel the world speaking. I write books. I have education courses and mentoring communities. I do a lot of stuff. But I do it all through the lens of that what and why. Everything that I do is about helping pets and people have a happy, healthy life. And I'm going to do that by helping you be the best version of yourselves possible. So what's your what, and most importantly, what is your why? Okay? If you can answer those questions, you'll have found your purpose. And once you find your purpose, I promise you'll find your way. That's just a matter of plotting out the steps necessary to get there. And once you get some wind in your sails, my friends, you will go far, you'll be happy, you'll feel a whole lot better. Now, isn't that worth taking 30 seconds, a minute? Hell, take an hour, take a week. It might take you a year to answer those questions. Time well spent if you can do so. And I think you'll recover your direction, you'll recover your purpose, you'll find your way. And I think you'll find you're happy if you do that. And maybe, if you spend a little time on that, then we can start feeling good about a life in veterinary medicine again. All right, that's what I got for you. If you liked that, if you hated it, just leave comments, okay? So leave them underneath the video, you can leave them on the blog. You can ping me on Instagram or on Facebook. It's at Dr. Dave Nicol. So that's DrDaveNicol. Yes, it is a weird spelling. Well, I don't think it's weird, but you guys seem to. But yeah, hit me up. Let me know what you think. And most importantly, let me know what your purpose is, because I think that matters a lot. All right, be safe, be well, be happy. Dr. Dave out. I'll see you guys next week. Take care.